The story begins with a boy named Dokja who was constantly bullied by some worthless kids at school. Whenever he came home after being beaten up, he would read a particular novel that gave him courage and hope. In that novel, there was a hero named Sam who fought against very dangerous enemies. All of Sam's companions had died one by one, but he never gave up. He kept trying to become stronger. At first, the story was very famous, but it had been running for the last 10 years with over 1,000 chapters released. Now, only one person continued to read it, Dokja. Dokja was now working as a contract employee at a company. That day was his last day at work, and coincidentally, it was also the day the novel's final chapter was released. After finishing his work, Dokja read the last chapter, but he felt disappointed because only Sam survived in the end. Angry and frustrated, he sent a message to the novel's author saying that the story's ending was terrible and could have been much better. While traveling home by train, Dokja met Jane, a girl who also worked at the same company. Her contract had ended that day as well. As they were talking, Dokja received a reply from the novel's author. The writer said he was happy that someone had actually read the novel until the end, and added, if you didn't like the ending, you'll get your chance after 7 p.m. to write your own. Just then, the train suddenly shook violently and came to a halt. A strange noise echoed through the compartment. When Dokja checked the time, it was exactly 7 p.m. He immediately realized that what was happening was exactly like the beginning of the novel he had been reading. Suddenly, a strange creature appeared inside the train. When a man shouted at it to start the train again, the creature killed him instantly by firing a laser from its eyes. Everyone screamed in terror. The creature told everyone to be quiet and introduced itself as the Messenger. It declared that humanity's sins had reached their limit, and now they would face punishment. However, it also mentioned that there would be a chance to survive. Each person would receive a challenge, and whether they won or lost would depend entirely on them. At that moment, a message appeared on the screen. Within 10 minutes, you must kill a living being. Whoever kills will receive 300 coins. Whoever does not kill will die. The train remained motionless, and panic spread among the passengers. Some people began fighting each other, while others teamed up to kill someone else. A woman tried to escape into another compartment, but the door was blocked by an invisible wall. When Dokja looked into the next compartment, he saw Sam, the same hero from the novel. That's when he realized this was the very story he had read, meaning he already knew the future. Suddenly, a huge monster emerged from the river and struck the train with tremendous force, causing it to overturn. Amid the chaos, Dokja remembered the rule: you had to kill a living thing. It wasn't necessary for the living being to be human. That's when Dokja noticed a boy named Yuri holding an ant farm. Dokja took it from him and handed it to Jane, telling her to pick up one of the ants. Then he tried to draw everyone's attention toward him, but no one was paying attention. So he quickly killed a tiny ant himself. Immediately, a hologram appeared and he received 300 coins. Now everyone started staring at him. But people began to panic, realizing there wouldn't be enough ants for everyone. Chaos broke out as people shouted and argued. Then Dokja noticed a man trying to kill an old woman. Dokja stopped him and said, "Kill this ant instead." But the man laughed and said, No, I'm enjoying killing this woman." That's when Dokja remembered the man's name was Prince. He was the villain from the novel. When Dokja tried to stop him, he turned on Dokja and started beating him instead. Suddenly, Dokja remembered the 300 coins he had earned and realized he could use them to increase his power. He did exactly that, boosting his strength, and then landed a powerful punch on Prince, sending him flying across the compartment. But Prince had his own dangerous abilities. When he activated them, darkness surrounded him and he began attacking Dokja brutally. During the fight, the ant box fell to the floor and a tube filled with ants rolled out. Dokja smashed it open, releasing the ants, and instantly earned a large number of coins. Using them, he increased his speed, endurance, then fought back with his enhanced strength, eventually defeating Prince. Prince pretended to cry and said he won't hurt you again. Please, give me one ant, just one. But Dokja coldly replied, you don't deserve to be part of this story. Then he placed an ant on the old woman's hand so that she could kill it and save herself. However, when the timer hit 0, Dokja saw that the ant was still alive. It had crawled out of the woman's fist. As a result, the prince, who was supposed to survive longer in the novel, died at the very first level. but at the same time, the old woman also died. The messenger returned and announced that only 17 humans were left in their compartment. In this strange new world, all the stars were described as powerful beings who watched human suffering from afar for entertainment. The messenger explained that now everyone would receive different gifts from the stars. Each person was handed a list showing which star wanted to sponsor them. Dokcha already knew that sponsorship wasn't necessarily a good thing. Sooner or later, they would have to repay it, and the price could be anything. That's why he decided that for now, he didn't want anything. Suddenly, the train began shaking violently again. The giant monster from the river was pulling the train down. Dokcha saw a soldier named Tom trying to open the door. He immediately remembered that Tom was also an important character from the novel. Dokcha shouted to him, "You have hidden power. Activate it now." Tom managed to awaken his dormant ability and force the door open, allowing everyone to escape. As they were running out, Dokcha saw Yuri still inside, heartbroken over the death of his aunts. Without hesitation, Dokcha rushed back, grabbed Yuri, and pulled him out to safety. Just as everyone was running for their lives, a new voice suddenly echoed through the air. The next stage had already started. Now they had to cross the bridge. Suddenly, the giant monster from the river reappeared and smashed a huge section of the bridge, creating a massive gap. After doing that, it slipped back into the river. To make this stage even more difficult, the messenger dropped a train carriage onto the bridge, and all the dead people suddenly came back to life, turning into monsters who started attacking the remaining players.
Tom tried to fight them using his powers, but there were just too many. Then, out of nowhere, Jane's special skill activated. She used her ability to create a temporary bridge over the gap, and everyone started running across it to escape. Dokcha, who already knew what would happen next from the novel, warned everyone that poisonous gas was about to spread. He decided that their best chance of survival was to head toward the nearest subway station. That's when he remembered, in the novel, the hero Sam had died there while fighting a dragon. Sam had used a special ability to reset the story and return to the beginning, but everyone else in the station had died. Dokcha realized that if he wanted to save everyone, he needed to keep Sam alive so that he wouldn't reset the game. He decided to tell Sam what was going to happen and help him survive. Meanwhile, Sam was fighting fiercely with his sword and gun, destroying enemies around him. Then he approached Dokcha and shouted, "What did you do? Prince wasn't supposed to die yet." Dokcha quickly lied, saying, "I have the power to see the future. That man was dangerous, so I let him die. Soon you'll fight a dragon inside the station. Here's how you can defeat it, okay?" Hearing this, Sam grabbed Dokcha by the collar, hung him over the edge of the bridge, and asked, "Then tell me, what should I do now?" Dokcha panicked and couldn't answer. Sam smirked and said, "If you really have power, prove it. Meet me at the station if you survive." Then he dropped Dokcha into the river below. The giant monster swallowed Dokcha whole, and he fell into its stomach. A hologram appeared in front of him saying, "New stage, kill the monster and escape." Inside, the messenger was also present, live streaming the event to the stars. Dokcha called the messenger by his real name, which shocked and angered him. Then Dokcha smirked and said, "I'm pretty famous among the stars now, right? I'm doing well in this game." The messenger reluctantly agreed. Dokcha then blackmailed him, saying, "Think about it. If I die, you'll lose a lot. You won't have any good content to show the stars, and they'll turn against you." Dokcha had read the entire novel, so he already knew the messenger had access to many useful items. Using that knowledge, he made a contract with the messenger. Suddenly, acid began forming inside the monster's stomach. Dokcha quickly said, "I need to buy some spikes right now, otherwise the acid will escape from its body." He had learned this trick from the novel itself. The monster's stomach had several vents where acid was supposed to leak out, but Dokcha used the spikes to block them all one by one. Finally, the monster died from the inside. Dokcha had cleared this stage as well. Later, he tore open the monster's skin, retrieved its core, and told the messenger, "Sell this in your shop. I'll tell you later what I want in return." In exchange, the messenger gave him a few rewards, one of which was a mask. Dokcha put on the mask and climbed out because the poisonous gas had already spread everywhere. Soon, he made it out to the riverbank, where his phone started buzzing with numerous sponsorship requests from the stars. Without hesitation, he turned off the notifications and walked ahead, ready for whatever came next. Then Dokcha entered a store searching for food and found several dead bodies inside. 2 girls were already dead, and a third was barely clinging to life. Suddenly, a monster crashed through the window. Dokcha quickly picked up the injured girl and started running as the monster chased after him, destroying everything in its path. Somehow, Dokcha managed to reach the subway station and pulled the gate down behind him just as the monster slammed into it. Outside the gate, a group of thugs was standing. They were shocked to see that the girl, Hina, was still alive. Dokcha immediately remembered that in the novel, these same people had brutally killed Hina. Furious, he spent his remaining 1,500 coins to boost his strength and began beating the thugs one after another. Their leader also had some kind of special ability which he tried to activate, but Docha overpowered and silenced him easily. Just when the other thugs were about to attack together, another group appeared. Tom was leading them. Seeing him, the thugs immediately backed off. The survivors from the train were there too. Jane informed Docha that a major political leader was now with them. That leader had taken charge of all the remaining survivors. He began saying that anyone with a lot of coins should share them with the rest so everyone could move forward together. Meanwhile, the boy Yuri had awakened his own special power. He could communicate with insects. Then Docha asked, "Where's Sam?" But no one seemed to know who he was. Docha realized that his different decisions might have already changed the course of the story. A few men reminded everyone that they had to pay a survival fee within 3 hours. In this world, even staying alive came at a cost. People could live without paying, but only if they continued clearing levels one after another. Staying too long on any level would require them to pay the fee. The leader approached Docha and said, "You have coins, right? Then share them with everyone. Don't you want them to live?" At first, Docha considered giving away his coins, but then he remembered, this man wasn't a good person in the novel. His name was Eno. He had sold his humanity to the stars. He was now a monster in human form, though others didn't know it yet. As the people with fewer coins began to grow desperate, Docha stood up and said firmly, "I won't give away my coins, but I will clear this level and save everyone." Using common materials, Docha crafted a few makeshift weapons and led his team into the tunnel. Along the way, Hina revealed that the thugs they'd encountered earlier were actually killing other survivors to steal their coins, then lying to everyone by claiming they had earned them by slaying monsters. Docha already knew where not to go and which areas were dangerous. The tunnel was dark, so Yuri used his ability to summon glowing fireflies lighting up their path. But suddenly, monsters appeared out of the shadows, and a fierce battle broke out. Everyone fought with their weapons, killing the monsters one by one.
Jane soon discovered that her ability was similar to Spider-Man's. She could produce web-like threads. She began attacking the monsters using her webs, fighting alongside Docha and the others as the battle raged deep within the tunnel. But then, out of nowhere, a monster grabbed Jane and dragged her away into the darkness. Everyone ran after her, and at the end of the tunnel, they found her tied up. Just then, a hologram appeared, announcing a new mission. They all had to work together to defeat the leader of the monsters. Only then would they clear this level. Suddenly, a huge monster emerged from the shadows, the leader himself. Docha was the first to attack, dodging the creature's many arms and striking back fiercely. But a powerful energy shield repelled him, throwing him backward. Tom then launched his own attack, but it had little effect. The monster climbed up to the ceiling and began using its special power, an ability that shattered the human mind. Whoever was hit by it was forced to relive their most painful memories over and over until they died. Jane was the first to fall into this trap. She began to relive the horrifying moment when the thugs had captured her and her friends. Luckily, Doctor reached her just in time and saved her from the illusion. He then ran to help Yuri before the child could be caught in the same nightmare. But in the chaos, Tom got trapped by the monster's psychic attack. He began reliving his worst memories from his army days, the battle where all his comrades had died. Docha tried to free him, but his attacks were blocked. Some rocks fell from the ceiling, but thankfully no one was hurt. Suddenly, the monster leader let out a deafening roar, summoning an entire army of smaller monsters. Realizing they couldn't win like this, Docha called out to the messenger, asking to buy a special skill powerful enough to defeat the monster leader. However, he was short by 1,000 coins. While Docha struggled to gather them, Hina was fighting the monsters head-on. She leapt high into the air and landed behind the monster leader, slashing it fiercely. Inspired by her move, Docha began doing the same, killing smaller monsters one after another until he finally collected the missing 1,000 coins. He purchased the special power and infused it into his weapon, which now glowed with incredible energy. Docha leapt high into the air, just like Hina, and delivered a devastating blow, slicing half of the monster leader's body in one strike. With that, they cleared the level. The monster's death freed Tom from the prison of his memories. Docha remembered from the novel that Tom had always carried the guilt of failing to save his comrades in battle. After the victory, the team checked the treasure chest that appeared as their mission reward. Hina received 2 small swords. Tom got a strange glove whose function was unknown. Yuri obtained a helmet that not only allowed him to communicate with insects, but also to control them. Jane received a special coat, while Dokja got a broken sword. Everyone was puzzled, but Dokja stayed silent. He knew this sword was special and that he still had to find its missing half. Then Yuri asked about the strange rocks that had fallen during the battle. Dokja explained, if you eat them, you'll start seeing bizarre and unreal visions in your mind. Suddenly, they realized that the station stage wasn't over yet. One monster was still alive. Hina jumped on the gang leader, slashing him down with all her strength. Her vengeance was finally complete. When the rest of the thugs attacked, something awakened inside Hina, a brand new power. Using it, she unleashed a deadly flurry of strikes, cutting down every last one of them. Now all the thugs were dead, and Ino had no choice left to fight. He struck a pillar to show off his power, but his hands suddenly turned monster-like, and he lunged at Hina. She fought him back and shoved him toward the tracks. She was about to finish him, but the others stopped her, saying they shouldn't clear the stage, because the next level would be even worse. They preferred to pay the survival fee and live. They wanted Dokja to take his group forward and let anyone who had to die be eaten by monsters so they could take their coins. At that moment, an announcement sounded that it was time to pay, which distracted Hina and let Ino shove her and run. Jane used her spider-like power to chase Ino while Hina tried to catch up. But just as she nearly reached Ino, an invisible wall pushed her back. Ino taunted them that they couldn't touch him. Then suddenly a sniper's bullet pierced his skull. The level ended. The sniper introduced herself as Gay and took all of Ino's coins. The team tried to leave, but the invisible wall remained. Gay explained that they were supposed to finish the previous stage back there. Somehow they had slipped into a new stage and now had to clear it too. Gay left and Dokja remembered she was a character. A friend of Sam, they fight on the same team. An announcement at the station said that there were 104 people and only 10 minutes to reach a green zone or the monsters would kill them. The green zones only allowed 52 people, and only one could stand on another, so people started fighting. A man named Rock and his gang sealed off the VIP area and demanded coins from anyone who wanted a green spot. Rock had bought an automated defense system with his hoarded money that shot anyone who annoyed him. Dokja told his team to split up and search for green zones. Gay returned and relayed a message from Sam. Dokja would have to spend the night alone away from his group. If he survived, Sam would give him a place on the team. Dokja remembered how the school bullies had once traded him and his friend around for fun. Meanwhile, the messenger announced that some green zones would vanish and new ones would appear elsewhere to make the game more exciting. The spot where Dokja stood suddenly turned green, and he told his team to fight the others so they could escape.
Hina said it would be better if she fought the monsters coming to kill them. The 10-minute timer ended, and many monsters started moving toward the station, attacking anyone not in a green spot. The rest of the team helped Hina, and Dokja joined them. Dokja noted that green zones were placed in dangerous spots to make the game more interesting. Monsters attacked people, but Dokja's team stood their ground. He was surprised to see Sam standing near a green spot, just watching as monsters tried to kill Yuri. The green zone was only for 2 people. Sam had already taken one spot and told Dokja not to try to be too heroic, just leave the kid and come. But Dokja refused to leave Yuri. He fought off the monsters and got Yuri safely into the green zone. The rest of the team found a 3-person spot and stood there. Now all the monsters focused on Dokja. During the fight, he ate one of the glowing falling stones, which put his body into a state of illusion, making him immune to the monsters' attacks. Dokja went back to the day when he was fighting his friend. He won, but lost his friend forever. Sam appeared and said he used to think the same way, but after this fight, he realized humans are selfish. A little later, Dokja's illusion ended, and he saw that his team had brought him into a room to save him. They had fought monsters to protect him, but Tom was badly injured in the battle. Dokja remembered that he still had to fight the dragon, so to protect his friends, he had to defeat it. A messenger then reported that only 57 people were left. The stars were angry because some people had helped each other instead of fighting, and now there would be only one green zone. Whoever stood on it when the timer ended would win. Everyone else would die. The green zone appeared under Rock, but he wasn't worried. Dokja asked GA for help, but she refused. Then he asked his messenger to convert the stars' donations into coins. Dokja went to Rock with 100,000 coins and offered, "Take all these coins, but give me your green zone." Rock agreed, and the green zone immediately appeared under Dokja. Dokja started breaking it with his broken sword. The others tried to stop him, but GA realized his plan and shot the green zone, destroying it. Now no one had much hope of surviving.
Dokja told the team that if they had fought together from the start, no one would have died. He gave all the coins to Rock and said they would save everyone. After that, Rock allowed people to enter the VIP zone for free. Then he used the newly acquired coins to upgrade his security system even further. When all the monsters arrived, Rock's weapons rained bullets down, leaving piles of creatures near the portal. The few monsters who survived the bullets were quickly taken out by Dokja and his gang. Suddenly, the ultimate villain of the game appeared, a dragon tearing through the ground. Breathing fire, it started killing everyone in its path. Sam fought back with his sword and guns, landing one powerful strike after another on the dragon. The stars weren't pleased. They felt Sam was too powerful compared to the dragon, so they made things harder. Suddenly, the station broke apart and moved beyond Earth. The dragon's body had turned to steel. Sam continued his attacks, but his sword broke. He picked up a new sword and tried again. The dragon unleashed its full power, hitting Sam hard. Still, Sam kept fighting. Dokja noticed an item that could protect him from fire. Eating it made him immune to the dragon's attacks. Using her webs, Jane freed Sam from the dragon's grasp, and Dokja joined the fight. The dragon kept attacking, but the fire couldn't harm them. Then a massive monster attacked the dragon. It was actually a worm controlled by Yuri's mind. Any pain the worm felt was also felt by Yuri. The dragon was extremely powerful and began attacking the worm, affecting Yuri as well. Meanwhile, Tom decided he wouldn't let another friend die. He jumped into the battle, activating a strange glove he had, which turned into a shield that blocked the dragon's attacks. His power lifted the ground, forming a wall between him and the dragon. Jane used her webs to create a bridge for Hina, who jumped onto the dragon's back and started attacking. Tom pushed the dragon from inside the wall. Dokja tried to strike the dragon, but it flew away. He realized they needed to hit the dragon's chest, but the attack would be fatal for the attacker. Completing this mission would give them a special power to bring someone back to life. Jane used her webs to hold the dragon in place. Dokja leapt and drove his broken sword into its chest, but it wasn't fully complete and couldn't pierce entirely. GA shot the dragon's chest, creating a crack, but the dragon shoved Dokja, healing his wounds. The team's morale plummeted. Meanwhile, Sam had finished off the remaining monsters and returned to fight the dragon. After several strikes, he tore open its chest, burning himself in its flames. According to the story, if Sam died, his skill would activate and the game would restart. Dokja saw everyone disappearing and thought it was over. Suddenly, the messenger reported that the second piece of the sword had been found. Dokja completed the sword immediately and struck the dragon with full force. The enchanted sword killed the dragon, and the announcement declared the level was cleared. The power gained from completing the mission allowed Dokja to save Sam as well. The station returned to normal, and Sam was shocked that Dokja had survived. With the dragon gone, the station was peaceful again, and everyone celebrated. In the end, a message from the writer appeared. Alright, I love the story you created. This will be the ending. If you liked the video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.